without right of way. That's not true. That's damaged county property, right of way or not.
Right. They don't know who did it though, right? That was a hiccup?
Yeah. Okay.
We're just gonna say forever.
Okay.
What's that?
It's rock and roll.
I'm
Yeah.
just kind of waiting for
Yeah,
Well, that's,
Ken, or do you want us to start?
we can
oh,
start.
it's 9.
Okay,
Go,
welcome everyone. We'll have prayer and then we'll do the pledge.
Shall we pray? Our Father, Lord in heaven, we come to you through your Son, Christ Jesus, thanking you for the blessings that you shower on us and our community. Father, we thank you so much for the help we enjoy, for the love that you share upon us, and for your concern for our well-being. Father, we are here this morning at the commissioners meeting. They're hoping to take care of the business, our county, and hopefully take care of as much as they can, as improvements and such with our roads and bridges and other things, EMTs, meet things at times, and different departments have budgets planned, and we have to meet with them and try to make sure there's appropriate funding for everything that needs to be done. We just pray that we might do things in order according to your plan for us, and we might be able to meet all these requirements that are needed to keep the county going and keep it strong and fully funded. So we just pray that you would bless these people that are taking on this task and those that are helping support the efforts. Watch over us, forgive us of any sins we may have committed. Through Christ Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Good morning, Roger. Good morning, Ken. Okay, here we go. Now we might as well get public out of the way. All right, well,
Mr. Lawson.
I think,
Okay, yeah, I don't see him, but
Okay.
I can,
yeah, if you want,
yes. Okay, you all should have and there's Ken's. This piece of paper in front of you. Mr. Lawson and his family, his sister Judy Dotson and I think just him own the property that basically surrounds this parcel. The commissioners own it right now. It's where it's at, the Fountain Trust Bank on 136 in Petersburg is the top left corner there. You can see where the bank's at. And Peyton's Barbecue would be down on the southwest corner of it. He just wondered if he could buy it or if it had to go up on tax sale. And Colleen kind of looked into it and said, what did you tell me?
It won't be on tax sale
Because you know-
because
okay.
there's no taxes.
Okay, so Mr. Attorney,
Yeah, we can sell it. The commissioner's discretion, you have to have 2 appraisals. And the offering price can't be less than the average of the 2 appraisals. I mean,
okay.
there's a kind of like a bid process, but if it's a dedicated buyer, but there's a statute to follow for disposition of real property, and that's basically it.
okay, takes care of that.
I guess we'll, Mr. Cullen. You're welcome to come up here if you want to sit or stand, that's totally up to you.
Oh, okay. Maybe you to stand.
That's fine.
President, members of the board, my name is Brian Cohen. Myself and my wife live out on South Case Road, outside of Kingman. I am retired military. We purchased this property from Greg Clayton. She's from Fountain County. So we wanted to stay in Fountain County. And we've had issues with our neighbor. We called the police multiple times. They have instructed us there is no noise ordinance in the county. I searched through and found one that actually would fit fairly well. It's already one of the communities in the county. It's actually Attica. Our big thing was don't bring me your problems without bringing me a solution on the military. So what I've done was I've brought a copy of their ordinance with the proposed change to submit to you for your perusal, so you guys can take a look at it and see what you would, if you would,
Our county attorney look at it.
Yeah, we'll have to take it under advisement and just review with him. Yeah, we'll take
Okay.
the recommendation under advisement and review with our attorney, and once he gives a recommendation back,
okay.
we'll address that once he has time to review it.
The second would be a proposed animal waste ordinance. I have a neighbor purposely trying to poison our pond. I've emailed you, I've been through almost every government agency in the state. And until he actually kills all the fish in my pond, there is nothing they can do about it. Apparently, there is no, other than common sense, stating, I do not put animal waste in somebody else's property or somebody else's pond. He has 1 acre. It has a house, a garage. He's put multiple buildings on there for livestock. It has a drainage ditch in the center of it, or on the south side of it, that runs from the county right into the pond. He has on 1/4 to 1/3 of an acre on his estimating. He has 6 cows, full-size cows, 2 donkeys, multiple goats, chickens, turkeys, and ducks. And all the waste either runs into my yard every time it rains, or it goes into the pond. And I have photos, unfortunately I couldn't get them to print on my printer, of showing that it is causing a problem. It puts nitrates and phosphates, and it gets an algae bloom. And I've had to put 2 aerators in my pond to keep from killing fish. We spent thousands of dollars refabbing this pond. Scott Powell had to come out and do extensive work on the pond. It was a very expensive build. They had to rebuild one of the walls on it and put in new piping. He's put plumbing in, drainage to try to keep their stuff from washing across our yard up against our foundation on our house. I've taken part of this. This is basically a start from the IDEM, solid waste, better business practices, and through some of the other IDEM and Indiana products. But until the fish are dead, nobody can do anything.
The county has a nuisance ordinance. We can take a look at that. It addresses animal waste and noxious smells and different things potentially. But I would really encourage you to talk to a private attorney. You may have a private cause of action for just water in general. Indiana has a complicated doctrine on water coming onto your property from someplace else. But if it's waste and you may have a trespass issue, you may have other that's damaging your property, then you would have a private cause. And I really recommend you talk to a lawyer and see if you have recourse there. We'll look at our nuisance ordinance and see whether we're going to try to investigate and see if there's any action that the county can take under existing code.
Okay. Oh, I forgot Paul's, because you put,
Just to follow up with Brian, he's kind of, we've been completely around his whole property. And nothing I can do with animals from the department's standpoint. But the way his property is, and the neighbor's property, it kind of makes a funnel, moves right into the creek and then directly into this pond. So even I did reach out to me and talk to me in my office and stuff. The one thing that we have done from our office is we have sent the person living at the property owner doesn't live there, but we sent them a letter on violation of junk vehicles, trash, and some tires. So we don't have anything back from that. But yeah, he's right. His land, unfortunately, it's the way it's contoured and stuff and right, it is pond.
and I forgot they've got Paul's back in there. And he purposely, you can verify this, they purposely put a pipe draining their hog pen right into that, running into our pond. When we had a problem with him in 2019, he said he would poison our pond. Last year, he said he would kill our pond. I've talked to an attorney that they want all the sampling done. We're in the middle of that. I've been working with the health department on another issue. The ground staying wet over there, but nobody can do soil sampling to get E. coli. So we're trying to work through the system, and I'm also going to have to take legal action. We're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to go to court over somebody who won't do the right thing. I'm asking that you take a look at this and, flush it out a little bit. But truthfully, you shouldn't have to say, hey, you can't put your animal waste on somebody else's property. It's just common sense. You cannot pollute a waterway, which goes from private property down to a little creek that runs into, I believe, Snotty's Mill Creek, and then goes to the Wabash. So not only are you polluting my pond, you're polluting public waterways with your animal waste, and you're doing it on purpose.
And it's really frustrating. You're dealing with the right government agency with IDEM. I really, your best recourse is a private action. Just based on what you said, it sounds a lot like trespass.
Thank you, sir. The other was, that's just something that I pulled out. Of the waterway, it is a county drain running through his yard into my pond. It's probably a 24 to 30 inch pipe.
Good morning. I'm
Yes.
Roger. How are you? I talked to you.
Yes, you talked to me Friday, sir.
I looked into the drainage. This is not a regulated drain. You're outside, you're well outside of a regulated drain. The closest regulated drain is Kingman, and you're miles away from that. So had it been a regulated drain, I could help you with that. And from my opinion, and that's not a legal opinion, from a surveyor or engineer's opinion, it becomes a private matter because it's not under county jurisdiction. When you talk about E. coli and Chlorosporidium, they persist in the soil for about 90 days. You should not have any problems at all taking the sample and sending it to the lab. And you have to like Case Lab, they can do an analysis for you and let you know if there is. Most likely, you're going to spend your money and waste it because there will be a positive hit on it since there is waste coming from fecal matter. So you're going to prove the positive, which is most likely the case. Did IDEM ask you for samples?
It was what was suggested and what the attorney suggested, that I get a sample. We also believe that their septic is leaking, or it doesn't have a proper leach field because of the distance away.
So the septic, that's where the health department can take it.
Right, but we have to have standing water.
That's his jurisdiction. And, I don't know Eric very well. I mean, he can go and inspect it and tell you, yes, there's a breach here, or no, I don't see a breach. You may take it.
We've been down and seen that it's not good enough to,
The ground is wet, but it's not standing water.
Right there. Is there a way to reroute the pond, to reroute the ditch around the pond?
No. Well, I'm sorry, there is, if it goes under a county road on the east side of the road. I don't know if anybody knows South Gates Road, the gravel. It's on, the ditch is on the east side of the road and it collects the water and then goes under the road where Mr. Hickman has gravel, where he was a county employee and drove a snow truck and he used to park it there.
It goes under the road into your pond?
It goes under the road into his, into this little like ditch, swell in his yard and runs right into our pond. On the east side of the road, it could be trenched down and the water could go right to the same waterway following the road, which drains there past a farmer's field. Because it goes down over a little hill and then you have a creek with a, one of the large tiles.
Russ is not here today. He is. Okay, well, from a highway perspective, you know, the county has no incentive to re-ditch the entire area because the water off of the pond.
I was gonna say it's probably maybe 200 feet. I mean, we're not talking miles.
Roger, it's close, is, the rainwater would still wash all the, animal feces, right?
The feces is gonna have to be handled separately. This, I'm getting massive amounts of water full of nitrates also. And my pond will bloom. I spend thousands of dollars on chemicals. Usually weekly, I have to dye the pond to try to keep it from going completely green. And last year, I worked all summer to try to keep the pond from going over.
So here's my opinion. I'm an environmental engineer. I'll tell you this. If the health department has no jurisdiction, it's too small of a project for either. The highway department is not going to change the road. You have one option left, which is what Mr. Manak told you, hire a legal counsel in the school out there. Because it seems like and it's not regulated waterway. I'd love to help you, but it's not. So there's nothing that I can see that we can do. Because if we help you, then there's 600 other people in the county that need little projects like that, and we cannot put the commission in a position to help all little projects that are personal.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I wish I could help you. I looked at the legal drain, it's not a legal drain, so.
Okay. I would ask you to look at the proposed ordinance about animal waste because, like I said, I don't feel you should have. It's one of those things that's common sense, but a lot of people don't like to follow the rules or follow and do what's right.
Yeah.
And yes, I will be speaking with an attorney. We've already started the process, but it's like everything else, it's a long process.
It is. We appreciate your concern. I think we can understand your concern. There's only so much we can do from a public standpoint. So we value our attorney and our engineers and our departments to give us feedback what we can and can't do, specifically on matters like this. So we do feel for you. We will take under advisement the ordinance that you proposed, and we'll get a recommendation on that. And if there's anything else we can do from a public standpoint, we'll be happy to do it. So
I would appreciate that.
And we do have your contact information, so. Just let us know.
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay, moving on to the minutes from May 3rd.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from May 3rd.
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Claims 1 through 183, $293,309.24. And the payroll claims.
I'll make the motion.
I will second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Review and acknowledge the treasurer's bank reconciliation monthly comparison report that was sent to all of us.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. March report of collections for the recorder and sheriff.
I'll make the motion.
And I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Okay. And you want me to turn this part over to you, the public hearing part for
Carter's grant.
Okay, please let the record show that at 9:21, public hearing is open regarding the CARES Act. No, cars.
ours.
Okay, the CARS grant. Anybody wish to be heard on the CARS grant program? You want to make a presentation?
Yes.
For the public hearing?
So CARS would like to, CARS is an organization that serves people with developmental disabilities. We have a community service site in Attica, and then there are also individual homes where we provide supports for people within their home. During COVID, the community service site closed. We're back open, but some people are still hesitant to come out. And the government has offered funding for virtual programming, so we can connect with people through like iPads, or they have a webcam, so we can do programming that way. We are requesting $50,000 through a grant for a program coordinator that would be able to be this area's service coordinator to connect with those people who are living in the community, but not able to attend our day program.
What's the grantor?
There are a couple. It's a partnership between the Division of Disability and Rehabilitative Services and the Office of Community and Affairs.
All right, anybody have any questions or comment on the CARS grant request? All right, seeing none, we'll show the public hearing closed at 9:23. That concludes the public hearing.
Your paper is going around, so maybe go around to everybody, or just, okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I was gonna ask, do you guys have a 4-factor analysis for like your access?
Joe has one, our DNA director. We need the tweet number 4. And I sent it to Kent. It really reads just like department ones, except for number 4, Joe's got there. We have laptops that each department has, so we can communicate with people with disabilities.
So do you need that
Yes.
paperwork to go with the rest of the paperwork that you sent in?
Yes, it's
Okay.
due by Friday.
It's due Friday, if that's possible.
Well, then let's just, we can just do it verbally to discuss the language in the record. And then so we have, Joe, what's the form of the 4-factor analysis that we've done before? Is it a document or?
Yeah, one of the things we've done, we've done a survey through the Commissioner Council meeting. We just kind of seen what people were, we had as far as people hearing or language. We've done that for about 3 years. And this meeting and council meeting. And then the other thing, like I said, we set up laptops and all the courthouse offices, so that if somebody comes in and can't figure out very good English or can't speak, they can get on the laptop and actually listen to the voice. I mean, you can actually hear the talk. What brought that about was the LSD person up and
Didn't we have one earlier this year when the judge was applying for phase 3 grant? I think the commissioners, it was within the minutes that we approved.
Okay.
So I don't know if we need to reach
I
out
have
to
to
the
see
judge.
if the judge has the paperwork, so I don't know.
See if we can
Get from judge.
get something from the judge that might be helpful. Do we need to make a motion
Yeah,
to?
just make a motion to approve the four-factor analysis that was completed by the EMA department in the last 4 or 5 years, and as amended by paperwork the judge submitted in her grant application, and as amended to include the language regarding the update. It'll look a lot like the policy that Park County, passed, but you can, that will be your state policy, and you can pass a policy just by regular motion.
All right, I'll make that motion.
All second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
We'll just be sure we get that to you before Friday.
And I'll have to just, when I get the grant motion from you tomorrow, I'll go finalize it, there's a signature that's needed.
We can,
Do all 3 of us need to sign it?
No, I think just the president.
Okay.
We'll just-
Yeah. I can put that down there. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. And he said.
The- Ru-
Rusty was signing for the resolution.
he might as well come up here for this.
And
Go, bro.
Kent, did you tweak that resolution on that other lease, the TCF lease?
Yeah, you might as well start the process. You,
I sent the changes David Penoff was wanting.
If the commissioners have that, they can pass that. And we can,
But I need to take it off.
well,
on,
you have it on your screen, to read it for the substance or.
No, I don't. I can go get
any
it.
of it.
What is it?
I can find it.
What is she getting?
It's a resolution that they, I thought we read.
We have one, but it was specific for the ship box.
Okay.
And actually, the dollar amount is different. So he wanted to change the dollar amount and something else.
Okay.
And so,
We did have a resolution when we originally went through the process for the chip box. They wanted a change. So
Okay.
this will just be an amended resolution regarding the authorization to. for
So the other one
disbursement.
had dollars amount and they wanted more general. Is that
Phrasing.
what- Okay. Otherwise, you're gonna be burning paperwork all the time to be signed for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, feel free.
I
Hey,
feel
don't you cry, that's lower.
this is, I'm shivering.
Yeah, me too.
That air what? That air hasn't shut off the whole
I
time.
know.
What do we get, lead locker?
I know it's shocking.
I know.
I know you're cold. I'm cold.
I'm like, can't sign my name.
I know.
Okay,
Okay, do we want to talk about something else while
Oh.
Colleen's looking for that?
yeah, let's go to the,
You can stay.
no, yeah, stay
Because
there.
you're gonna be next, so.
We can do the TCF.
Okay, yeah, I got the lease here, if you guys want to make a motion to, and then let us sign. You want to look at it, or?
No, I think I know what's coming.
While you're looking at, I have a question. I've been offered more for our distributor than what, if we traded it. Where do we stand on that, Ken, as far as going ahead and making a sale? I know you said that you have to have 2 estimates.
it can be surplus and traded in pretty easily. If you have a chance to sell it for more, then we have to put it in bid.
Well, that's the whole thing. We did trade it because they weren't allowing anything for it, basically. And then I had an offer on it. Can I accept that offer?
Now we have to bid it.
Okay.
That's my question.
That's one. I'll do that. Matter of fact, he's coming this morning to bid on the chip box distributor and.
Hey, can't, under legal terms, what constitutes as bidding? In the paper or
Well,
what?
if it's, you have the ability, if you have an upcoming auction, if it's in the auction, that would be the.
It's passed.
So, all right, well, we'd have to put a notice in the paper
Okay,
and then notice to receive bids. You can set a threshold amount, not less than X.
And we can protect the bid on that part of it as far as.
Well, just having, once it runs, I mean, you can count it however you want. Bids
Okay.
after that.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
so we'll get something put together if that's the route we want to go.
Yeah, we just need
Get-
the description of the equipment.
Right. I'll get that.
Yeah.
Just email it from.
Okay.
And if there's anything else you want to put in there, we can do it all at once, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, if there's anything, just,
I was just going with what they were going to allow and,
Yeah.
which was nothing.
right.
So, which in this type of equipment usually what it is.
So get Colleen a
List.
list and detail of it, and we'll get it published.
We'll get it advertised. Okay.
Do we need to give him a motion to do that, or is he fine by doing that? Okay.
Okay, so back,
Yep.
circling back to the TCF lease, in the amount of $238,500.
I'll make a motion for the 2022 lease.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The resolution says trustee instead of you.
Okay, good. That's all right. I'll just hand it. Hand it to you.
Yes.
That's a lot of yellow pages there. So
You just want to do his department, then we'll go back to
Um,
the additionals.
No, let's just get this out of the way, and then we'll focus on him.
Okay.
Let's do the additionals, and then
Resolution.
we'll deal with the MVH as he comes up here.
I'll give it to you and just be executed with the changes.
Rusty, I'm just gonna have to sit tight.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on to the duty additionals. That's all right. I don't know if you want to make a motion to accept them all as a whole, or make a motion for each department, for all in county general.
Since they're all in the general, I'm okay as a whole.
And the ambulance, that's equipment repair and maintenance.
Yeah.
Just want to clarify that.
If you want to read through the list.
Okay.
My only question is everybody getting enough to where they don't have to come back and
Well, Josh,
It's a guess.
I understand that.
It's long. I don't, it's a guess.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want to bump it, I'm happy to bump it, so we don't have to advertise again, but. I mean, it's not like it's gonna be like I said before, it's not gonna be spent anywhere else.
What is the cost on, and one on autopsy?
1,500 or 1,525, depending on what they use. That does not include toxicology, transport, or facility fees. That's just the pathology.
Okay. So is it in your opinion to bump it up at this time?
I'm happy to bump it.
Okay,
Because, like I said, $8,000 is going to get us about 5 more exams, but that doesn't include facility fees.
right.
Facility fees are less expensive unless we don't go Lafayette anymore. But, you know, I don't know. We're at 16 or 17 cases right now, which is, for this time of year, it's ridiculous. So,
Okay, so
let's
10, okay, that's that's what I was gonna say. Body transport, toxicology, you want to keep those the same,
If
or?
we keep those the same and we see that we're not pulling a bunch of money out of autopsy towards October, or something, maybe we can see if it's easier to move. If we want to crash it, I'm cool with crashing it too.
Okay.
I was trying to be a little conservative, but not,
Right.
not gone that huge.
Well, I think, you can just bring that, for the commissioners or council, as the year progresses, like I said, you just don't know.
The plan commission,
Plan commission,
that's probably low.
right,
I'd like to bump that to 10,000.
okay,
But with that being said, a lot of work is being done right now in the plan commission will be or can be reimbursed by one of the solar companies we're working with. They've done it in the state of Indiana elsewhere. They've done it every job they've ever had. They'll take care of the county attorneys.
So.
and I'm sure he's gonna be working with you, Ken, to track those hours, so,
So yeah, I would like
Okay.
like a
So
10.
while we're just, can we bump toxicology to 1,600?
You don't want to just do 2,000.
Well, let's just
like
do
that.
two.
This 1,600 is gonna cover 3 more things.
Okay.
Or is the extra 600 will cover 3 more things.
So you want
Okay.
1,600? Yeah.
Okay.
Because we can always go down.
Yeah.
If you advertise high, the council can decide, no, we don't want to give you that much. 2,000? That's what I thought.
Let's do two.
Okay.
Okay.
Body transport on call, we're gonna leave this at 1,000, or do you want to double that?
Let's leave it over.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
Three.
I have 3 changes.
Three
I
things.
just want to make sure I'm on the
Yeah.
same page.
So ambulance equipment, repairs, maintenance, 10,000, plan commission consulting fees will be 10,000, jailers, 4 jailers, 89,602, overtime jailers, 5,000, coroner autopsy, 10,000, body transport, 1,000, toxicology, 2,000, and on-call, 1,000. I did not total.
For a
those.
grand total of 128,602.
Okay, thank you.
128,602, 10,000 increase.
So if I can get a motion to, we can just do one motion to approve those additionals, and then Colleen can advertise those and have it go before the council next month.
I'll make the motion.
And I'll second.
Those in favor?
All right.
Human cap development, I would suggest changing the 7,000 to 32,000, because the 7,000 is for the scanner in the auditor's office, that will get her through the rest of the year. When we first did the budget, we weren't sure of what our revenues were going to be, and so the council had cut that in half. So I would like to see us have 25,000 as a appropriation for us to work with, because it seems like with the highway department or whoever, things break down, furnace, air conditioner, whatever. It's a lot cheaper if we're going to do the additionals, just do it now. We have to get permission to spend these funds anyway. It's not like someone can just go out and turn the claim into the auditor. So it does have to go through the commissioners to be expended. That's just my recommendation.
I'm fine with that.
Are you fine with that?
Yes. So we're going to make a motion to add an additional 25,000 on top of the 7,000 for the cumulative cap development fund for a total of 32,000.
Yes.
I'll make that motion for 32,000.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Now we're ready for Rusty's additional, and that is why I wanted you up here, because I would like for you to review those figures with us and just explain to us your needs for each one of those items that you have listed, if you would.
I don't have a problem doing that at all. Currently,
back some time ago when I came and asked you, I could go to the council for extra money, I didn't do it properly. So I am officially with a letter to you asking for additional appropriation for pneumatic tire roller. The item cost that you see are bid items. Those are what I have bid. I have a whole stack of them here. I'll give them all to you if you want to go through them. These are bid items from different companies. They're not one company bid, they're separate. So each item that I give you may not be the lowest, but it is the best of the bids for what we need in our purposes. The pneumatic roller, the one we have now, will not pull the hill at Snuff. So when we chip seal, we ran into a lot of problems. It's under horsepower, it's 40-some years old, it just needs replaced. The double drum roller with vibration can be used both in our gravel road program and our asphalt program. Problem we have now with the one we have in existence, sometimes the vibrator works, sometimes it doesn't. Those are things that we don't expect when we set up to go work on a road today. We don't expect to have breakdowns. And we do. And I know you will with new stuff. But when you're operating with prehistoric equipment, it's time to.
How old's the roller? How old's the second roller?
How old is
Drum
that
roller.
big roller?
I've been here for 24 years, never zero problems.
There you go. And 90% of what we're asking for was here before he came. So it came to a point where we tried to get by, we tried to do what we can. And the way the economy is, I hate to ask for money, but this stuff is gonna cost us way more if we wait. And the perfect example to that is, if you remember, you approved me to have 2 new dump trucks some time ago. Ladies and gentlemen, those trucks aren't even going to be built until July the 6th and July the 14th. That's how far back things are. This equipment that I'm asking for is sitting on the lots, ready to go. I mean, just think. The single head foot roller with a vibrator is a necessity for the gravel road program. Absolutely, it's compaction. Now, Mr. Campbell has loaned us one, we're trying it. It's not, I'm not gonna say it's not working, but there again, that's somebody else's stuff that we're using. So if something does happen, our liability is shooting way up there. The 2 hot boxes can be used year round. One that we have now in existence, we can't trade it, we can't get anything for it, we can't get the igniters to light the propane. It's unsafe, and I don't think I want any of my guys trying to stick their face in there and light it. The other one, we got kind of pretty good shape, but still, it's like everything else, it's old, and parts are hard to come by. These 2 boxes can be used year round. And the reason I say that, both of them have self-electric heat, solar powered. When we use cold mix in the winter and put them in these, it'll heat that cold mix. So we get a little more adhesive when you put it down on a cold blacktop. It'll stick a little better. It also carries its own compactor. So it's right there on the machine. You undo the little thing, it lowers down, the compactor vibrator goes over and vibrates, and you got it compacted. Whereas before we would take shells and beat it, and that didn't last 5 minutes. So just giving you a heads up, all the shovels, rakes, oil, everything's right on this machine, these 2 hot boxes. And the last thing I want to talk about is the paving. We were not going to ask for that. We were going to try to put that in our budget. I'm telling you right now, from what I've been told by different dealers, the paver right here, the cost, that machine's sitting in Annapolis. We can pick that up now. No waiting, no nothing, and we'll have it. And the difference is, this is all electronically lasered. It runs itself, one man, whereas right now with the dinosaur we got, it takes minimum of 5 people on that machine. Constantly running, raking, screwing, and what have you. When you set this and the grade that you want in it, the machine will literally lay the road for you. And you still have 1 or 2 guys that will have to check. I mean, it's just not that easy, but it will, I'll put in that our guys against anybody when it comes to paving. And this machine will do everything our guys need completely. So it's not manpower wise, I know we're shorthanded as far as manpower. We haven't asked for those yet. Will probably be a budget item for manpower. But this machinery right here is essential for the people doing the work, taking care of the roads that you have in this county, both gravel and pavement. And this winter has been atrocious on all roads. We are working to the best of our ability with the equipment we got. I'd like to see it made easier with these types of machines and our guys to have a better handle on what they are doing. Is it less work? No, it actually would increase work because you have something that's capable of doing what you need to be done. And that's the one reason and the availability of equipment that I put this all in a package and to go ahead and ask for the paper now through additional funding and try to get everything updated for this county so we can better do the roads.
How many miles do we pave a year? Do we try to get to pave?
That depends on what the community crossings ask us or what our budget is. Right now, asphalt is probably running right at $1 million a mile. You do everything that goes with it. So when you look out here and see what's being done, in community crossing, we obtained 400 and
I can't remember exact dollar amount.
I don't
It's
either,
75, 25.
but we're only getting 4 miles total, or 5 miles, excuse me, total.
And how many miles compared to that with your paver, you can do probably how much more than that? So we're doing,
If we go
miles.
new versus
No.
old.
no.
If you do.
What
the-
I'm saying, I'm trying to justify this $400,000
Oh, I
for a new
understand
paver.
what you're saying, yes.
Can we do 15 miles at 1 inch or something?
A lot easier than you could 7 mile with the old dinosaur. Yeah, you can double your output if you had the funding for asphalt.
Right.
And that also has rates. I mean, it all comes down to funding, folks.
Right.
It's,
Well, what I'm trying to do is justify.
I understand.
Community crossings money.
right.
It's state funds, correct? Not federal, state.
State.
So that's just money, our money, we're basically coming back, but our money in Fountain County, we can get, well, I guess my point is, for 4 miles, it's $400,000. Surely, our guys, our labor, not union labor,
Right.
not, this would probably justify itself in 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, first of all, community crossings, we can't do that. That's done by.
Right, no, I know that. That's what I'm
So,
saying.
Well,
I'm just trying to show the people what it costs to have,
right. but
okay, we don't do a paver, our paver breaks down, we have to pay Milestone to come in and pave our county roads. You're gonna get about a mile a year,
Yes. Yes.
maybe.
I understand what you're saying. Yes.
With this, we can get
As long as you keep giving us asphalt money, we can keep going. We can go till we get the forward. I understand.
How many miles are on the docket to get paid this summer? I think is the big question.
Right.
Next summer, and
Right.
without saying funny, how many miles do you want to pay this year?
However much the money allows us to do. We don't want to turn any back in, I can tell you that. And based on the cost of asphalt, we can do 30 miles a year. Give us the funding to do it.
Right.
Give us the manpower. We can do it all. We can do all 400 and some odd miles of blacktop. And funding's there.
Right.
And manpower. And it's, well, we can't do that much.
Okay.
And
I say do it all.
Because
I'm sorry. We're dealing
Good
with
stuff
crap.
today, trying to fix it.
And this is, you know why we're dealing with this? For 20 years, 25 years, we've done nothing.
We have
That's why
not-
we're dealing with this.
The past 8 years when I was off there really wasn't, there was hardly anything coming through as far as leasing or buying equipment. I have no problem with what you presented to us and explained to us. I know that last year when we were working on budgets, a lot of revenues, we didn't know what they were gonna be.
Right.
And so they are more. I mean, I am fine with this. I know MDH cannot handle any of this.
Right.
And I have brought that to the council for the past 3 years, that
Right.
they need to start looking into other funds to help your department. Because if we're gonna take care of roads, you're gonna have to pull the money from somewhere.
Yeah.
With county general being healthy due to the lip, I would have no problem if the council wants to fund some of the out-of-county general. But also, you know, we do have Q cap development C that, you know, with at least 700,000-800,000 in each one of them. But we've got 11 million in county general right now. We understand that there's property tax dollars in there at this point, but I still think that there's money. We started out the year with 11 million in county general. So if we can make a motion to approve your additional appropriation contingent on what the council decides to advertise and fund it. Is that okay, Kim? That's just my recommendation.
Well,
Just looking at all the funds and everything from years past, and the history of everything,
Well,
what the council's gonna decide.
right, and per my budget, trying to, like you said, match funds and the leases we already have signed or are signing. I know that these items are on the back burner for another 5 to 10 years before we could ever afford to try to do that. And I don't foresee the highway getting the way funding is being handled right now for the highway department out of gasoline tax. I don't foresee that increasing because the more thought is to go electric. How are they going to fund highways when they go electric? How are they going to do the increases? MVH was divided in half, taking half our money, put over here for community crossings, which meant that the state of Indiana had a bigger pool to pull from, because if we can't dot our i's and cross our t's, we don't get our money
And that
back.
ratio, I think, is supposed to
Mine.
change, isn't it? When is it supposed to change the MDH restricted?
Yes.
Yes. So I mean, that's not gonna be huge, that percentage, but I mean, at least it will be something.
Yeah.
Will be-
I think we're at 75.5, is that correct now?
Well, no, I'm talking about your MDH and your MDH restricted,
Oh,
it's 50/50.
correct, yeah.
It's gonna be 60/40.
Right.
But I just didn't know when that was gonna kick in.
Rusty, didn't you tell me also, I don't think we touched on this, these things are sitting on a lot right now.
Right.
To get new ones, the prices are probably going to go up a few $100,000.
50%.
Just like everything else, you put it off, you're going to pay more. We
And-
built the jail 10 years ago, we could have done it for 7 million. It cost 17 million.
And this equipment gives you the ability to do all of your gravel, program.
Yes.
You're not gonna get it done in a year though.
Right.
No.
But it gives you the ability to do it all in one swipe.
One swipe.
Not leave stuff on the side, do it, bring it back and be done with it.
Right.
Correct?
Covered, sealed, done.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
That is what we
That's what I want to hear. All one swipe, nothing setting.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna leave it till we get it rain.
Well, I thought we had a water truck for that.
that.
I thought we had a water truck for that.
We'll plan around rains.
Yeah.
Okay. Making a motion for the 941,404 contingent on pricing, and contingent on the council's decision on funding, from what funds it bought from. Is that correct?
We're not gonna specify. which
Right.
funds.
It'll be up to the council.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hey, no excuses now.
I've never had an excuse in person.
No, you haven't.
No, you haven't. We appreciate everything, Rusty.
Well, now, I need you guys, I told the sheriff's department, this is our Friday night call-in. Some piece of car machinery does not want to call in and tell us he tore the road up.
It's asphalt. I thought it was gravel.
It's asphalt. So I appreciate you saying that stuff, and, I'm glad Roger's here. Roger, my barricades fell in the hole up on 1400. That is getting wider, larger.
We need to get that done.
It's, yeah, it needs addressed.
It's up to the commissioners to award. I know, Joe Stoll submitted a revised, Connie, do you have that?
Well, I thought he was, he's done a revise since, did they go up there and do a sample day?
Doing the boxes. I don't know, legally can't help us out here because he submitted after the proposals were due, but we kind of.
Well, this was all,
It was a request.
fact that this is an emergency situation and the water gauge hole is expanding, your emergency procedure rules are a little relaxed. We asked for, under that statute, you can solicit
We have a copy.
phone bids. And, so, I mean, the emergency still exists. I think the commissioners can make a decision today on the,
Yeah, getting worse.
Right.
on the two that are submitted.
And it's still a lot of unknown. And that's the only thing that bothers me. Is what is the problem? I mean, usually when you have that much by dirt moving, there's a tile somewhere, so,
Most likely it is.
yeah, I mean, it's not going to be an easy situation.
So did they do a sample dig up there or anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
He asked to go sample dig, and my recommendation was, don't dig anything, we're ready right at the edge of the road. I don't want to compromise it more than it is.
Right, okay, great. I told him to talk to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I told him to do anything without talking to you.
and I said, sample what? Yeah, either gonna find the pipe or not, once we dig it, we'll find the pipe or not.
Okay.
Right,
Okay,
that was the whole thing, I mean, and the fiber optic is there, I do know that, so.
There's some challenges at the site.
Very good, very good.
I think now both contractors understand the challenges. You know, Bell put it in his proposal as a caveat that, I know that there's telephone on fiber there. And this was so written at the time. He came back, I don't know, I have not seen the proposal on it. So I really came in there and looked at it.
Okay, Roger, so, and Rusty too. Originally, we had two quotes, one from Stoll and one from Bell. Stoll's original was $17,655 with a new revised quote of $26,100. Bell's original quote was $26,800, contingent on some of the conditions at the site, contingent that the tile was not greater than 10 inch and contingent that the phone lines didn't need addressed, which it sounds like the phone line's going to need addressed. And it sounds like the tile is going to be larger than 10 inch, according to Stoll. I don't know what your recommendation is on the tile size.
We're gonna replace it within time. I gave them a 15-inch to bid on,
Okay,
just because it shouldn't be any bigger than a 15-inch.
Okay.
Mr. Stoll came back and said,
Oh,
well,
I'm-
8-inch should suffice.
okay.
I
So-
disagree with that, but-
We have two very comparable bids at this point. One came in later, one was,
Andrew,
and yes,
here's the pickle that I see, and
Okay.
this is Kent's problem. Mr. Stoll was here, he knew what Mr. Bell bid. He came
I-
back with
I chuckled a little bit when I saw the price just for that
I don't know- I
scenario.
don't know how we finagled around that and how we figured that out legally.
I think with Daryl's past experience with the county and submitting the bid on time, and with being contingent on a couple scenarios, and working with Roger and Rusty in the past, it would be on behalf of my recommendation. Go ahead.
Thought we kind of already told Stoll to go up there and,
I think
Do it.
I think after talking to Rusty though, I think Roger told him not to dig the test hole because it would compromise.
right. But, I mean, just, I thought we were going to give them a shot, because, you know,
Yeah, but it's really up to you guys at this point, and what Kent really
I mean-
advises.
I don't,
The road needs to be fixed ASAP.
correct.
yeah, okay. Well, let me talk to both involved and just say, because I hear, you know, all the time, well, Bell, well, that's 99% of the time, he's the only one who bids on it. And he does excellent work.
Right, I'd like to,
So,
I'd like to see experience versus, I'm not against either contract. But to me, when the first bid came in, somebody already knew what he was gonna pay, so the other one didn't. I would say, based on that, just based on that, would be experience versus, I guess, that's just my opinion.
I mean, it's safer to go on what was originally submitted. You're gonna accept the higher bid. The rules, you have to accept the lowest responsive and responsible. As long as everything's responsive and you use the responsible factor, then that's when you make specific findings of why you would choose the company with the higher bid because of reputation, experience, prior work. And that's just how you make your recommendation.
I just know it's out of our, I mean, we can't handle.
And it's emergency, probably.
Yeah, and it's an emergency, we need to get probably something. Because
okay,
we will have to put a lot of signage up there. I mean, we're gonna basically have to put it, but if we do, then we need to go north and work on that entire stretch of road, shut the whole thing down, work at sections with blacktop mowing, put the pipe in, whatever we gotta do, we need to work our way across that whole road while we're in this situation. And if that's the case, then I need, a lot of rescheduling, a lot of programming, because that would coordinate with the closure. So that's something that you guys, whatever you tell me, then that's the way we'll work toward. So whatever you decide. And Roger gave me 2 more jobs up there to do.
I was just doing legal framework.
Anything else?
Yeah, Rusty, I have something for you. I just want to go with Kent. Kent. Which way should we proceed on this? Because we really need to fix the road. And I don't want to.
Well, the recommendation from the highway director, the original bid, Bell was higher, is that right?
By $600 now.
So then if the highway director's recommendation is to go with Bell, then we need to show in the minutes that you're making written findings that you are choosing the higher bid because of experience with this work, past relationship with the county, the responsiveness of the original bid, and to the extent that Stoll's bid was a little incomplete, you can include in the record that the initial bid wasn't entirely responsive, and the commissioners can vote on that recommendation.
I don't want to see anybody hurt. this is, I mean, it's a serious situation. And I know it's serious enough, even the experience we've had, I don't want my guys to try to do that. I'll help any way we can, but that isn't. I mean, that road takes 800 cars a day, average speed 65, 40 miles an hour post. So it's whatever you guys, I mean,
I'm fine.
I'm not trying to pick a contract, I'm just saying,
I know Darrell Bell's doing awesome.
I don't want to be.
That's not the point.
Right, right, no, I understand.
I hadn't experienced that type of.
I mean, ultimately, it's, you know,
I'm,
Well, we're.
I'm not sure that Daryl's
Just
included
back
shoring.
west of 850.
I'm not sure that he included shoring.
Right there on the hill.
Darryl.
And 820s.
I don't know.
What? Because it was contingent if it was greater than 10 feet, we had to shore it, which would be a different price. That's a no. Here. Yeah. So what we're reading is originally on Daryl's quote, it says if it was greater than 10 feet deep, then I think there would be an additional cost because of shoring, which now creates two different price points again.
Well, it's just, if you award a bid, you can have change orders up to 20% of the bid price before you have to rebid. It really gets into new work and it's gonna be, so a $26,000 bid, that's, 20% is not a lot, but
Right.
that's the statute.
I'm fine with either or. On behalf of Rusty's recommendation, if we want to go Daryl, I'm fine to make that recommendation
I'm
based
not trying to
based on the timeliness and
step
responsiveness
on
of him.
anybody at all on this because.
Here's what I would say at this point. Let's go with Daryl. And before we start, we need to finalize to be sure that the price is what it is at the current time point. If his bid still stands.
Yeah, I'll let you guys handle it.
Yeah, well,
I can take care of that. As long as you guys give me a recommendation, I can take care of it once.
I think we're going to make a recommendation on Daryl. We'll make that motion in a second. If you'll follow up with him, price contingent, see, to keep in mind, I mean, basically $5,000 to work with.
So I got a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll say.
All those in favor?
Aye.
3 years.
One more thing for Rusty, are the underground tanks empty?
You right now?
Are the underground tanks empty?
Aye.
No.
Last time I talked to you, it was.
What do we got left, Brad? 1,000 in gas?
That's not a,
1,100 gas and 3,900 diesel.
Yeah.
Checks were in.
You're not refilling those tanks, right? We're starting to use them off and on now?
Right.
Okay. So
we had an extra
we
one.
can have usage and all have empty tanks.
Oh, really?
Okay.
We're just being contacted and let you know where everything's at by the end of the week.
Would you please let me know, because I have to, I don't know 14 days in advance.
No, the gas department anyway. You know, next couple of days, rain and everything like it. Without trucks, we start using them and start eating on diesel. Right now, we're not using a lot anymore.
Let me know, please, because we're getting to the point where we need to push that through, otherwise.
Or Friday morning, let you know where we stand and try to get any plan.
We have it.
You. Yeah. Good.
Thanks, Rusty.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right. Is Dan here? Is she on something for you? Okay. Well, we can go back, she has to show up. Garth will not be here, and they're pretty busy. I think we got all that, the trucks going, so. Sheriff?
Sure.
I hear him giggling.
You don't have anything?
Just the additionals for overtime for jail. And also I was informed that we need to bring back 4 jailers to propose
vote on it. Evidently,
At the council.
on all of it.
Yes.
We approved it.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was about an hour ago.
Been back here before.
Okay. Yeah, that's been a while.
Thank you.
Excuse me. I have a bid.
You can't come back.
I'm sorry. She waited on me to get back up in that green car. She can wait. You guys know we have a problem with Kate's covered bridge. They have a program. They don't have any money or whatever, but Kate's covered bridge, I have a bid for $9,600 to fix, and I mean fix it right, because that thing is a mess. And this is a situation where I think you put 40,000 in a covered bridge fund in my account. Why, I don't know, but I think this needs to be addressed.
Well, we got a covered bridge maintenance fund too. There's $24,000 in there.
Let's use that out of there.
And I think in the past.
I think that
we've used some of those
40,000
funds to fix some of these other bridges for painting or whatever.
That 40,000 might be the Rockaway money.
No,
No?
we budgeted a .005 to get
Yes.
some property tax
Right.
and we.
Just to cover bridge?
just for
okay.
covered
Okay.
bridges. So we got two different funds basically.
So whichever one you want to take it out of, this guy,
Well, I know that.
Rand,
they have
it's,
come to us
I can
for a
hit it,
lot of-
Rusty. Randy Slider, Carol Freeze called
yeah,
me
there you
and said that some tin had blown up on the roof down at Cage Mill. So, and she wanted to know if the county could go down and look at it. And I said, Carol, you know, we're not gonna put our county guys up on that roof. It's just too dangerous. And so she said, well, long story short, we knew that Sliders in town had a tree service and had a long extension thing to cut trees with. So initially, we were just gonna have him get up there at it and look at it. Well, he also has a roofing company. So I asked him to go look at it, and this was just last week. He went down there and sent me about 20 pictures. Bottom line, Carol just wanted the tin folded back down and 2x4s put across it until they figured out what they're gonna do with the bridge. Well, he went and looked at it, and he said, Tim, he said, I'll tell you what, he said, I'll do it. He said, but I'm wasting my time, your time too. He said, every nail hole has rusted, and the wind, when it's pulled, has pulled them. There are pieces of tin that are totally gone, and he showed me in pictures. He said, water's just gonna go through like a sieve still. So in order to do it correctly and stop the water, he's got to replace 12 sheets on each side. And he's going to put native poplar underneath. I think that's about it. But anyhow,
go. Just tear off the damage.
tear off the old,
Yeah.
haul it all away.
Right.
$9,600 working 50 feet off the ground, 60 feet. I think that's a great price. So, and I've told him to get his insurance in the Colleen, his liability insurance for his roofing company. So,
So I want to present this on an email that I personally think that we ought to get this guy as fast as we can, because we got to rain the rest of this week.
well, his first supplier that he usually goes to was like 3 or 4 months out. He found another one in 6 to 8 weeks for him to produce the.
3 to 4.
Oh, 3 to 4 instead of 6 to 8. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he can get on it pretty quick.
My recommendation would be that you guys vote this.
And Carol was very happy with him too. She's using him for other stuff.
If she's happy, then we're all in good shape.
Right.
Yeah.
Not picking on Carol, but I'm telling you, I like her phone calls, but
Right.
let's get that bridge fixed.
Okay. I'll make a
Now,
motion to hire Slider Roofing, I don't think that's the name of it. Randy Slider fixed the roof.
Mr. Slider, okay. I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
No, we're gonna take this out of the covered bridge maintenance, is that your suggestion?
Do my suggestion.
Okay. I mean,
Whatever
there's
you think.
2,400 or 24,000 in there.
I mean, the
And I
council,
don't think we've had any repairs on that bridge for quite some time. And we get money for the 3 covered bridges every year. And we're not really supposed to prioritize anyone. I don't think we are at this point. Does this need to go to council too?
It's budgeted, and we're approving a contract, so I don't know why.
Well, we don't, no, we don't really have it budgeted.
Well, not, but, I mean, it's in the fund.
It's in the fund, but we're wanting to spend the funds, so
Oh.
that's why I asked, I didn't even go to the council, because
Okay.
they didn't really approve for X amount of dollars to be spent every year. That's not really the fund.
Is it the key, the threshold issue is it appropriated?
No. That's my point. We've always, whenever we've had expenses, we've just brought it before the commissioners and the council, because it was no X amount of dollars was appropriated every year. I know some counties, they go through about every single fund and they appropriate X amount of dollars to be spent, and we have not really done that very well. We've gotten better.
so then yes, it does need to go.
So I better stop this text and hold off and tell them.
It's gotta be appropriated before you can.
Yeah.
Okay,
Otherwise, you can spend it out of, it's appropriated in the
so another
Huge
month.
Bridge. It's appropriated in Huge Bridge, but we've always spent money in the past through covered bridge maintenance with the approval of the Commissioners Council.
If you're gonna award it from an appropriated fund, then you're good to go. But if not from a-
So then-
So the 40,000, I'll switch my vote to that then.
Okay, so it's coming.
Just
out
to
of
get it
the
going.
covered bridge line item.
I mean, either way, it's,
Otherwise,
so,
if you're wanting to do additional appropriation, we should have included, the covered bridge maintenance to be included. And that can
It's
still be done.
it's not gonna make a difference on timeline until they approve it. So
either way, they have to approve it?
no,
No.
we could have additionally appropriated
We could have
it
done additional
earlier,
Appropriation earlier, and we still
But-
could.
but the timeline's not gonna change anything.
So we've already
Because
got
it's still gotta wait for
appropriated
the
line.
council to approve it. If we additional it now, they still gotta approve it. Or if we submit it out of that fund, they still gotta approve it at their meeting. So the timeline doesn't change it for us unless we do it out of the 40,000.
Right, and that's what
Which
I'm
goes-
saying.
that's-
So if
that's
we go over
appropriated.
40,000,
Yeah,
it's
and we're not,
appropriated.
so I think, just take that acute bridge and then, that's fine.
I guess, can I text the man after we vote on this and tell him to start
If we can,
tomorrow?
if we take out a Hume
If we
Bridge,
take out
yes,
Hume
we
Bridge,
can.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I want to do then.
Yes.
I want to get this done.
So you make a motion to approve the 9,600 out of Hume Bridge. I second that motion.
3-0.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
We're all on the same page.
Yes.
There we go.
All right.
I just didn't want to wait another month.
I understand that.
Got it.
Okay, Health Department, Kelly.
Okay.
Okay, so the easy one is we're done with Optic Grant. The state messed up and sent us $75,000 right off the bat. It's supposed to be a reimbursable grant, but they sent in the money. So we were treating it as if it was reimbursable. We did whatever we needed to do. So now we're collecting all the paperwork to send to them to close this account out because they didn't, we requested an extension because we have this money, we didn't know. And they're like, oh, no. So they're de-obligating the loan or the grant, de-obligating the grant. And we're getting all the paperwork. I'm gonna work with Colleen so that we then just cut them a check for the remaining balance that's in that Okra fund. So the only thing I do kind of want to do is take, I think we had 1,800 in administration fees, and I kind of would like to take that 1,800 out of the Okra grant, check the balance. And because I think we were paying Jenny's overtime out of our 9,777. So that would also bring us back a little bit closer to the positive in that account.
Yeah, 'cause right now it's negative.
Yeah.
So then that brings me to the 977 grant. We're in the negative by a lot. The state, every Monday, when we've been having our conference calls, have been like, in 2 weeks, you're gonna get some money. In 2 weeks, you're gonna get some money. So we've been continuing because we've had our vaccine clinic going 4 days a week. We had testing every day, plus on weekends. So, we had to staff it. So we just kept going and they kept saying that we're gonna be getting money. So we finally had a grant meeting last week and we do have some money coming. It's not a lot of money coming. So I'm still trying to figure out how to get us to the positive. So it's gonna be from different areas that we can get us back in the positive. So one is that 1,800 from Okra. We can ship that from 9777, put it into, take it from the Okra grant, put it into 977. That's $1,800 up. Then we have, I submitted an invoice. So then we had another fund that we were getting from the state. It's called the Moderna Mass Vaccination Grant. That grant was given to us because we agreed to take more Moderna vaccine and extend our hours and offer it. So we ended up getting, 400 doses of Moderna. That equaled almost $5,000 for Fountain County, almost $3,000 for Warren County. So approximately $8,000 will go to bring us into the positive in 977. So that's what, 9,800 there. Then another pot of money was, okay, so the CDC, so the state got 64 million from the CDC. Half of that is going to their Optic system, it's a database. The 34 million is going to be split among local health departments only, but to fund testing and vaccine through 2024. So I'm thinking, okay, well, when I was doing the math, that's not going to come out to a lot because we don't get a lot here. So our portion of that for 18 months is 33,000. So that 33,000 is going to go towards our negative. So now we're like, okay, well, how are we going to fund? But that's just something the health department's going to have to figure out.
Because I think talking to you too, the overtime and everything is starting
to window, yeah, we're almost done. So we're bringing it, so May 25th is our last clinic day. I've gone down from 4 clinic days, staffing with a full staff of at least 12 people, down to, we're down to 2, because I have to be open late at night on a Tuesday and then hours on a Saturday. So, and that's a grant requirement. And then we just ran the clinic Saturday with 4 people. I mean, there's no interest in, even with going and expanding to 12 and over with Pfizer. We did have a few walk-ins, but I mean, it's not enough to keep the clinic open. So May 25th is our last day. Now we're going to pull it back to the health department. We'll offer, Wednesdays will be our late days. So we'll have 2 hours of overtime on a Wednesday and then 2 hours on a Saturday. That should just reflect overtime, but it should be minimal staffing. Just because I don't think, safely we'll probably need 3 people, a nurse obviously for the injection, an observer. Sometimes, we'll need that at first, plus a registrar to get people checked in. And then as those numbers start dipping again, then we can have the nurse be the observer and, get the injection.
And I don't know if this is the place to bring it up, after talking to you and you're concerned with the state saying, like we're gonna get X amount of dollars, but even though we're a bi-county, they're still not factoring in, like all these counties are getting the same pot of money. And I know your conversation with them, it's like, yeah, but we got 2 counties here and you're giving me the same money. So that that is my concern with us doing a bi-county health and doing the paperwork. It's been a nightmare this past year, and with all this code or any grants, we can't recoup anything from Warren County for some of our grants and everything. If it's spent out of 1159, yes, but why go after grants when you're gonna get penalized? And so, the thought is like, do you separate and go on your own health department? Because.
So I
Jake-
have requested from the state to consider money for Warren County and money for Fountain County, because it really isn't fair. It's, there's smaller counties and they're getting 33,000. There's, Benton County is probably comparable to Fountain County maybe, so.
No, more than Warren. Benton's only about 8,000
Okay,
people.
but then there's still smaller counties
Yeah.
within the state.
Oh, yeah.
Say, Benton County's
Dearborn,
getting
Switzerland,
33,
yeah.
Posey County's getting
Yeah.
33, we're getting 33 for two
Two counties,
jurisdictions.
yep.
So, early on in the pandemic, it was a flat out no from the state. I don't know how, maybe if there's commissioner or council, requesting this as well from the state and not just the local.
I don't even know that.
It happened to be brought up in a pretty good meeting. I don't know if we have any pullback there in the back. Yeah, yeah.
I was just thinking about their state legislators, but I can certainly mention it to them myself, that I heard this in a meeting today.
Yeah.
And it's a great concern for you.
Well,
So-
and it is, because honestly, 33,000 to service, 2 counties, we should be getting 66.
Absolutely.
And for 18 months, and, since January, we were told we were gonna get money, and we're not unique with the fact that we're in the negative. Pretty much every county is in the negative right now because of, the vaccine and testing sites. So, how are all of these counties, so we get the 18-month, grant, well, that's 33,000, well, that's just gonna bring us up to
Even.
getting into the positive.
Right.
So it's like, then how are we going to pay it forward? So I mean, 66 would be great. I mean, even if it wasn't 66, maybe it was 60 or 55, but certainly more than 33. Because every county's getting at least that. And so does that mean that Warren County's not getting it, or does that mean Fountain County? How are they determining? Just because we're a bi-county health department doesn't mean that we should get less. We're just, 2 counties still have to, answer to their constituents, and we're just a department that's servicing them, so.
I mean, it makes sense, if they're doing it on a per county basis, did the authorization say they're giving it to individual health departments, or if they're giving it
Yeah.
to individual counties, then?
Well, it's individual health departments. So it's local health department only, but I think they forget a lot, they always forget, because we're the only bi-county health department, so they always forget that, we have even environmental, like, we have a huge area to service, and, yeah, maybe we don't have the population, but with the vaccines, plus testing, anyone within the state can come to our test site, and we've done over 11,000 vaccines, and a lot of those people were from Tippecanoe. So Tippecanoe, Montgomery County, Putnam County, Lake County, I mean, we've had them far down as Evansville during that. So it's not that we're even getting our own population vaccinated or tested, it's, everybody who's taking up those appointment schedules, so it's frustrating.
Kelly, when they disperse those funds, do they disperse them to the health department to be given to the auditor?
No, it'll be
Or do they-
deposited directly to the auditor.
So is that something that maybe Warren County's getting the money, we just don't know?
No, they know.
We've already run down that.
Agent. Yeah, no, nothing,
We've gone down that road.
nothing is deposited to Warren County.
Well, in the past, when the grants were distributed, Fountain and Warren both got their grants independently. And then when the state made the changes and started changing the granting procedure, they even changed the name of our grants in the health department. When that all started happening, that's when they started, Fountain and Warren counties are by county. They just see one name, and they only think it's one place.
That's been a problem for a long time.
Can you open a satellite office in Warren County?
Yeah, it would be nice if we could. I mean, I don't know if
If they're
it's,
going by health departments, if you have a satellite office there, I would assume that would be.
but we would still be under the umbrella of the one we have found to be in Warren County Health Department. I mean, it's just the funding is just annoying because, you know, we're always behind trying to catch up because, and it's just not with this, it's with environmental.
Kelly,
Which Okra grant is that you were,
It was 75,000, oh, what's the number?
it should be in the 9,000 numbers.
It was 9775, no, 9775 is Fed grant.
What's the name of it?
It should just be Okra. OCRA.
It should be in the
Was
9,000.
it, or was it a 49 number? Oh, it may be in the fours.
so, and what happened with that grant again?
So, at the beginning of the pandemic, Dr. Sherm found out about the Oprah grant, which is a CDBG grant. And I didn't know anything about it. And, I mean, I didn't know about the grant. And of course, this was the first year I was gonna be the grant manager. I was gonna just take my time learning how to be a grant manager, and then COVID hit. So I applied for the grant, we were accepted, and then, I, in a lengthy email, just said, I'm new to this, please explain if you can give me any guidance, any, you know, links to let me know what this grant is, how to do it, how to administer it, and, very minimal information, so we got through it, and, next thing you know, I got $75,000. It was supposed to be reimbursable, but they just deposited the whole amount.
Right.
And, but then we were treating it like we always do our reimbursement. So Jenny would, you know, we got a credit card just for Okra.
Yeah.
So I wasn't mixing it with health department credit card.
Right.
And so she would get her, you know, we'd get the bills, she'd spend it, she'd give Peyton our, the invoices, then Peyton would get the credit card bill, then we submit it to the auditor for reimbursement. And
Yeah.
everything was always, you know, allowed, you know, I always made sure that, you know, they were approved expenditures.
Sure.
So then, when we asked for an extension, because we only spent, what, 50, we have a balance of like 56,000.
Okay.
So we haven't spent hardly any money. I'm like, well, what are we gonna do? Because the deadline was June 15th or something like that. So we asked for an extension, and they're like, whoa, how did you even get that money? I'm like, who you send it to us?
Right.
I'm like, I don't know. You did it. So then they're like, well, we have to deobligate this.
Have you already been spending it out?
Yeah, so we spent about,
And what fund did you say you're spending that out of? Because I'm not,
it's over.
So they obligated the whole amount, so the 75 has
No,
to
not the whole amount.
Okay.
So what they just want is whatever is remaining to be sent back,
be, at what time point?
whenever I get it done.
Uh,
So I've been assembling all the paperwork and
so
everything.
you just need to finish out of doing your overtime and everything out of the 977.
I'd like to just get, yeah, I would like
And then
to
the
switch.
remainder sent back.
Yeah.
At what point do they want the timestamp done though? Like,
They haven't given me a timestamp. They haven't told me.
And what's a-
As soon as possible.
and what's approved expenditures out of that grant?
Oh, I don't know, Jenny.
So that's what I've been running the food pantry out of.
So food, personal hygiene products. Equipment, so all the, crates and stuff that she's bought was approved, the cards, administrative fees, so personnel too, and, you know, to run the site. So that's why I kind of want to take her overtime and do that, because we hadn't done that. So-
Yeah, that seems crazy.
So I have a checklist and I've got the documentation, so I thought I would bring that all over with Kelly. We would go through it, make sure I've got everything in order before we cut a check. Okay, so here I go. Oprah was gonna be.
The other thing too that you talked about was, the health insurance for the person that was hired
Yes,
You're
so
gonna,
Brianna.
you're gonna ask the council if that could come out of 1159 so that the county could then bill Warren County for. Okay. So you got a donation fund. We're looking to see if we have a fund actually set up.
Well, I'll ask Peyton.
Yeah.
It's not the 9818, is it?
What is the number?
9818? There is a balance of 55,000.
Yeah, that's it.
There would have been a beginning balance of 64,908. Well, yeah, but you're just,
Oh, this is from January.
yeah,
Okay.
my beginning balance this year.
So Brenda and I created that one in June of.
9818.
I don't know, Colleen can probably get that information off of.
That's the only line item that I can see makes sense.
That sounds.
Because when you called it Okra, I'm like, I don't remember setting up a fund that said Okra.
Yeah, it's under 9818.
Oh, did you
The
set it up under?
response programming grant,
COVID-19 response program.
Community
grant.
cares or something, what's it called?
COVID-19.
Response program. Grant. Okay, well, you two be working out, you make it fun.
That's why I'm like, that's why I was asking kind of when that cutoff date was.
Because
I mean,
sometimes
if you
it
can
won't
keep-
print, it won't show up on here if there's no.
Do you have any insight to any that she's speaking of, the okra?
Being in the state, and
Yeah.
federal, I don't have that.
Yeah, yeah.
I do have the information for the over office
Okay.
that I can help try and find out
Okay.
as well, so.
I mean, I hate to leave the funds out there if we
Yes.
could use them, but,
Yeah, you guys can.
Well, they did not give us an extension, so
Okay.
we're done. We're done.
okay.
But now it's just collecting the information and giving that to them.
And in the agreement, and it should be on file because when State Board of Accounts comes to audit, all that information will be in there. So they can kind of check with the dates of what your grant is good for.
Yeah.
The time period.
Okay, very well.
Okay.
Okay, so, yes, commissioners and council, I am working on getting us to the positive. Another thing that's coming up is, which Colleen is gonna have to set up, and I do need to probably speak with Kent about, but, we are doing so we do get an administrative fee, so, our clinic has generated revenue for the health department. So it's our first check, which is, I have no idea how much it's gonna be for, is gonna be deposited with you soon. That's all I can tell you, that's all they said. But it's, so an administrative fee is what can be billed to an insurance company, for administrative.
Out there.
So it's, I think Medicaid was a $28 admin fee. But, so Dr. Sherman and I were talking about it, it's like, well, if it's, let's just say it's a $10 reimbursement, so it should be a pretty hefty check. But then, I'll need council to let us know how, at the meeting, at the grant meeting, they were suggesting, other local health departments were talking about a non-recurring fund.
Right.
Making sure that it, stays with the health department and, is something that will be accessible year after year. Okay, so I don't know that much about it, but an ordinance needs to be created so that that would happen.
What would the funds be used for?
Well, I don't know, I guess just, we don't know yet.
Okay.
Do we have to have that determined?
Yeah, just the fund ordinance has to have about 4 elements, the source, the, who's gonna manage it, it's obviously the auditor, and then the purpose. And it can be just however you want to define it.
Okay. And it can be broad?
Mhm.
Okay. So I would say basically, we have to, well, since it's from immunizations, it probably will be, that type of thing, in outreach, immunization.
They could be used for funding, for the lack of funding for the testing and.
Yeah.
Vaccine going forward.
So lots of money, so, yeah, and then the only thing I'm waiting for now is Warren County's invoice to be sent from the state, so that I can submit that. So Colleen has, so what I've submitted already to the state is the 33,000, my 18 months award. The one that's almost 5,000 is like $4,967. And then, so there is another grant that we do get every year, the immunization grant. Last year it was supposed to be for increasing HPV immunization rates. Well, of course, because of COVID, we haven't touched that money. Lacey had said, she had done the grant, she submitted it, and we were gonna buy a new freezer and refrigerator. But I did talk to the state grant manager, and he said that I could use it for personnel for COVID, so I could use. So what I'm gonna probably need from you, Colleen, is maybe what we spent in, for personnel at the clinic, and I'll probably get that number first from Peyton, and then just verify that with you, but I can use, that grant ends June 30th, so I thought if I could use it from, it's 19,000, and we haven't drawn on it at all, so if I could take that 19,000 and put it towards our negative balance, that'll boost us up too. But that's gonna be just from personnel.
Personnel from January 1
To, well, when I,
to present.
yeah,
And then, out of the COVID fund, 9777.
yeah. And that should, take us on, look at that too. So that's another pot of money that, and then that's gonna renew. We did not seek that out. We would have, but the state just automatically renews everybody's
So in the past,
immunization grant.
you've been doing overtime out of 11:59.
So for employees, so this is just temporary staff for the clinic and testing.
Just want to clarify that.
And then the Brianna's position, I was just asking if we could shift what we pay per group health insurance from 977
To
to
11:59.
1159, and then we would be able to bill Warren County.
Okay, and that's gonna be council.
And I think that's all.
Okay. I'll say, how do you keep all that in your
I
head?
don't know.
Gee whiz, wore me out.
I don't know, we were going back and forth the other day.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Even though they're called sons, that's what they asked the state too. They're like, you could just give these different names instead of each calling them an immunization grant.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
thank you, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jenny, Eric,
I don't have anything in it that just for campus, and you know, things that we're working on. I'll set up a meeting with you.
I had a guy hit me up again today on the auto salvage down on 234. Okay. I mean, I thought we'd sent him a letter, and I don't know if we ever heard anything from him or not. So,
We'll discuss that in a meeting.
okay.
It is 9818.
perfect, 9818.
Okay.
Joe,
Joe?
Oh, come on.
wake up, wake up.
The only thing I got is word with the law enforcement, with civil unrest.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Kelly.
We're going to be having a tabletop exercise in June. I'll be getting an email out to all of you. The tabletop is not only just for Baton County, it's for several counties. So we'll be opening our EOC up and the invitation to commissioners and council voting on bring this exercise. Hopefully we can come up with a decent plan that we can check off on. And by doing this plan, it should help law enforcement if there is a need or something in getting grants, that will help them. So that's what I brought along.
Thanks, Joe. Paula? Hi, good morning. Okay,
I'll even come up here and say.
I know.
You guys are probably already zoned out.
Yeah.
Refocus, okay? Okay, so the first thing is with the state SVRS, statewide registration system, they are standardizing the names of the precincts. I kind of briefly spoke with Colleen and the recorder to find out the specific names for like Mill Creek. Is it really one word or is it two words? It doesn't matter, I don't think, because we have it both ways on maps and other places, same with the Van Buren. But the standardization they have in the GIS system, like Logan 01, where we have Logan 1. And so I have an order, they've submitted an order, and the easiest way to get it changed is standardize everything for the commissioners to pass an order with all of the names. So I'm going to go through and I will prepare it for you and submit it, email it to you, and then if you guys can sign the order, get back to me. I'll get it in, we'll get it standardized. That's the first thing. Any questions?
Good.
Okay, moving right along. I'm gonna close my office on June 17th, just FYI. I'm gonna take my girls to conference with me. I feel like it's important for training and networking, meeting other clerks and deputies, and so I will close my office. I already have it on my door, as a courtesy for the public and everybody. The second thing is, I'm gonna rearrange my office where I'm sitting. I have my back to everybody when they come in, and I'm over that. So, but the issue that I'm running into is I'm gonna move off of my traffic clerk's desk. As soon as you walk in my door, I want her to be able to see the door, whereas right now she can't see who comes in the front door, but there's a mirror up there. So I would like to move her desk over on the east wall. There's an outlet there, but it doesn't work. So I need electricity ran on the east wall. And I know that Brandon Friggett has been on vacation, and Rick has already spoken to him, so he's supposed to be coming in and giving me a quote as to how much it's gonna cost. And so, and also, because I've got these electrical strips where the extension cords and stuff are ran across, and it's such a tripping hazard. Like, it took me probably 6 months when I started working here to not trip over them. And so if you don't know they're there, you know, somebody can trip and we'll be liable for it. So that's the second thing. Third thing, sorry. And the last thing is, I have been teaching on our Constitution. I took the liberty to teach a 10-week course. It's called Constitutional Life through the Patriot Academy. And I had a minimum of 10 people in every class last winter. And I would like to do it again, which I've spoken to some of you already, and I'd like to use the courthouse as a classroom. And I'm not sure which room yet. I'm thinking either the community room or possibly the courtroom. I know in the courtroom, I spoke with Brad Keller with the IT, and he suggested maybe the courtroom. And I haven't spoken to the judge yet, she's been gone, but I'm gonna ask her if she would be okay with me opening that up to have people sign up and take our Constitution. From the very beginning of the pandemic, I've been concerned about our constitutional rights. And I realized that I don't know what our constitutional rights are. And the only way to learn them is to read the Constitution, study it, teach it, know it, so that we can defend it and assert it. And so I'm taking the liberty to just offer this. I don't know if there will be a charge associated with it or not, because I just did it on my own to begin with. And then I was watching the program and realized that I'm already doing everything that this particular course sets up to do. And so I contacted them, and I'm now titled a Constitution coach, whatever, but the dates will be forthcoming starting in July. I think I'm just going to do a 6-week course instead of a 10-week course. And I'm not sure what all it's going to look like, which dates or anything yet, but that is what my plan is. And I'd like to have Commissioner's blessing to use the courthouse to open it up to the public and hopefully have people come in so that we know what our constitutional rights are and what the proper jurisdiction of our government is, whether it's federal, state, local, whatever, because honestly, we don't know. And that's all I have.
Okay.
What days are you planning on having this course, and how many hours will it last each day?
The first set of classes that I did, I only got them for last hour and a half. But the discussion was so good and rich afterwards
I'm
that
just
it
keeps
might
eye
be a
on
minimum
them.
of 2 hours.
Let them roam all over the building.
And,
Right.
previously I
Most
had on
people like
Thursday
that.
evening
Turn
No.
everything off.
at 6 o'clock. And so, but I'm not certain which day I'm gonna start. I have to check my daughter's softball schedule to make sure that I can work around it. So. Any other questions?
No, I think, I was just talking to these 13 specific guys. I don't have a problem with the courthouse at all. The only thing I asked is if there was a safety concern with people being here after hours, which I don't think with those people there would be. But I'll leave that up to you.
Well, I would be more than happy to talk to our sheriff also and see
Yeah.
if he would. And that was suggested to me when I put it out there, like, hey, what about our law enforcement? Let's reach out to them and include them also, so that they also know what our constitutional rights are, because we do take an oath to uphold and defend our Constitution. And so I'll reach out to Terry as well.
Yeah. Good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Paul.
Roger, you got anything? Connie?
Next or 5/27, I think that's next Thursday. We are doing a food distribution event at the fairgrounds. 4-H is sponsoring it, partnering with food finders at Lafayette. I can send out electronic copies if anybody wants one of the flyers, just to distribute and kind of get the word out to people. Down here, it's- people are very helpful for our program, so we're trying to do that with it.
Any other departments or?
I was just going to, you may have already been contacted, but similar to with the CARES Act funding, Barnes and Thornburg, Jake German are also, they have a similar, similar services regarding the American Rescue Plan, $2,500.
Is it, okay, I didn't get a quote because, I was in a Zoom meeting with the Indiana Association of Commissioners, so county commissioners.
So,
And they suggested that they may, Barnes and Thornburg may partner with Baker Tilly, possibly, but some of the counties, I think Montgomery County's already signed contract with, Barnes and Thornburg, and we did that with CARES Act. And, I would like to see that, and then if we could get an advisory board, you know, whether it's 3 council, 1 commissioner and auditor, whatever you suggest, maybe we can get to work on that. But they said, just don't get in a hurry to spend your funds, and especially, you know, with the health department, because they've got some special grants out there for the health department, which, you know, we really don't have a plan in place. We've talked about a few things that maybe, the ARP funds, you know, could be used for, but I think they're gonna loosen them up somewhat after, sitting in with Senator Braun, that topic was brought up, so I just want to get things in place so that when we are ready.
I can ask Jake to send the services agreement for the next meeting.
Sure.
So,
I think it would be beneficial for us, and then we can work on advisory.
We still haven't received any funds, right? Not yet.
No,
We haven't
I think
received-
we're in the process of retrieving the funds. isn't that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
They have been requested, and they said about 4 days, and that should probably be tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I know Thursday, I don't think there was any counties that had received their funds, because receiving them, requesting them from the treasury is quite a process.
They wanted my blood.
Yeah.
good job.
Yes, Robert.
I know it's not ready, but it's one of your divisions. I've been doing a lot of paperwork on the drains. We're starting to get into areas that the corn is coming out of the ground, coming out of the ground. So if you guys get phone calls with complaints, it is us. We have lights on our vehicles. We had one situation where the farmer came flying down at us and they wanted to know why we were in his backyard. But his wife totally defused the situation by giving us cookies.
I would go to that one.
I think his last name was Hardy.
Yes.
But no, seriously, other than
No,
that,
the farmer said he could drive through his crops. It was really not a big deal. That's what he said.
but honestly, other than that situation, we are going across some crop fields and we're very sensitive to the farmers. We try to hug the edge of the field as much as possible. But a lot of those drains don't even have anywhere close to the 75-foot required. There's nowhere I can go. I mean, I'm either in the drain or, because they're farming right to that. But if you get any complaints, well, we're doing our job, please.
Right.
Okay.
That was surprise. You know this guy? I go, yes, I do. So, anyway, that's all. Did you want to
I'll,
talk about this or are we gonna?
no, I'll look it over. I just remembered there's something that I wanted to change. I'll send it to Kent. And we'll get that for the next meeting. It's not gonna change anything for us.
Okay, and this is a resolution, what we're talking about is a resolution to participate by electronic means. So it'll be-
It's just a standardized resolution. They want to have them.
Does anybody have anything else? If not, I guess, see you
I guess one thing.
in June. Yeah.
Yes. Farm would keep this resolution. And we have, resolutions and proposals to go to state. Or one of the restrictions on applicant. County highway budget. Limited. Because we feel that